and welcome to Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. I'm your host, Beth, and I'm an ordinary person amazed by the extraordinary people surrounding us. This podcast is about people who live among us who are doing extraordinary things. You can expect to meet people from all walks of life doing things that may inspire you, make you want to change, or just simply sit back and delight in their stories. I have met the most extraordinary people in my ordinary world, and I am so grateful to have the opportunity to share their stories. Now listen in and enjoy. Your inspiration may be right here in this episode. Welcome to February's edition of Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. I met today's guest, Paula Muller, back in January of 2023, when we were both volunteering for the Alzheimer's Association and attending their conference in San Diego. From that first meeting, I knew there was something special about Paula. She's a scientist, a technology expert, a biomedical engineer, and a dedicated volunteer. But beyond the titles, what really struck me was her heart and her inventive spirit. Today, Paula shares a story shaped by compassion, creativity, and a deep commitment to aging adults and the families who love them. I'm so honored to introduce you to her, and I'm so excited for you to hear her journey. So without further ado, let's talk with Paula. Welcome, Paula.
Welcome, Beth, and it's such a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. You're so kind to me.
You're so kind. I'm very happy to have you here today. Like I said,
Thank
we
you.
met way back in 2023.
In San Diego, right?
And I was just so intrigued by your inventive spirit and what you were able to do. So if we can start today by talking a little bit about you and about your invention. So you are a scientist, you're an innovator, a caregiver, a volunteer. But would you be able to tell the audience what part of your story matters most for people to understand who you are?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Beth. And I think it's the melt of all those features. They couldn't have come together otherwise because I need them all in order to produce what I produce. And I think that the family connections come way back from my roots. I grew up in Chile and my family is still in Chile, my parents and my brother, but I was always very close to them and especially very close to my grandmother, very close to her. So family connections and Sunday lunches, long lunches that goes into the afternoon and just the family together. And it still is today, I mean, very close to my family, even though I've been living here in the US for almost 30 years now. But the family connection, very, very important. And then the willingness or the motivation, the drive to find solutions to things that I think they were not solved. And that's how Caregiving 360 came about, finding this gap. As I mentioned, I grew up in Chile, very close to my family. And then my husband is Swiss, and his parents are also in Switzerland. So both of us are sort of long distance caregivers, and our parents are aging. And 10 years later, after I started Caregiving 360, they're getting older, but I saw that gap. They didn't grow up with technology like we did, and much less like our children and grandchildren do today, right? So I was seeing that they were not as connected with their grandchildren, and then this separation, this time difference, and just sometimes letters are not enough, and you need to have a better oversight. So how to bridge that technology gap, and as time goes by, I've been every time that they speak with us, they really appreciate the product that we created.
Yeah,
Because
and we're going to talk more about the product in particular, but the way you were able to make sure that people who don't have that technology are able to use it, I find it amazing.
Thank you for asking me. So basically, the motivation, all the things that you mentioned, the engineering aspect, the family connections, and just being observing and being sensitive to what the other people may need and try to solve that was where all the elements. So to bring that together, what
Everything
was
together, not
exactly.
one particular.
Thank you.
Was there a personal moment or a personal experience that set you on the path towards aging and dementia? Was it
Yeah.
just that you had your parents in different locations?
So yeah. So what happened is in this journey with my company, I started exploring and promoting the product, and really always being very very sensitive and listening to what the people were telling me, professionals and also families. So as you will later experience, every feature that is built into the product has been the result of someone asking me, I will like this for my mom. I think this will be helpful for my residents. So by me going to assisted living, rehabilitation center, just talking to people and learning about aging and in the different settings where they live, where they go home, I realized how prevalent dementia is in the aging population. If my statistics are correct, even in assisted living, almost 60% of the residents have some type of mild cognitive impairment. So that really hit me, and I thought I should be able to do something for them because I was seeing their wonderful communities, but not too many activities sometimes, and just sitting and watching television is not the way of passing your days. So that's
What were
why.
you doing as a career at that time when you were recognizing that maybe you wanted to get started with what you have right now, the CareLink 360?
So my career, my professional career was always in technology and mixing basically healthcare with engineering. That was the path where I was. But I will say I was very fortunate that during my career, I was always involved with products and developing solutions that had a direct relationship with people. I mean, one of the projects that I remember that gave me a lot of joy was working for Sirius XM. At that time was also always almost only Sirius, but they merged and right now they're Sirius XM, and having the opportunity to say, yes, what I develop is in your car radio. Or what I develop is what you are hearing over the air in your car radio. Having the opportunity to work on solutions that are directly impacting people has been very rewarding for me.
Mm.
So before starting Caring 360, I was working for a company in the healthcare, and it was a beautiful project. I was managing projects for hospital discharge. So basically, we had a solution, and I'm talking about over 15 years ago, where and probably surprisingly still is the case, but at that time it was remarkable that all the documentation that was exchanged between facilities and hospital was over fax, and that causes a great chaos. So we were basically automating that process, and instead of being faxes, basically you were logging into a portal and making available to selected facilities all the information about the patient so you can do a quick discharge to the respect. Probably, probably some, well, at that time with companies like Allscript, basically everything automated it through a portal.
Right.
Instead of having days going back and forth with faxes, in a couple of minutes you were able to identify which would be the right facility where you can discharge this patient, or where would be the right rehabilitation center where you can discharge, or the right assisted living community for this patient in the hospital. So I was doing that, managing that engineering team. And also I was managing the engineering team that was working on telehealth at that time. Very interesting. The Veterans Affairs, the VA was a pioneer, what is called, and probably continue being called disease management. And basically having an electronic device that goes to the veteran's home and helps them manage their chronic condition, either diabetes or congestive heart failure. Basically, the device was giving them prompts through the day in order to get their weight checked or their blood pressure or eat well. So basically, whole disease management plan. And the idea was really with this platform, the case managers at the VA were able to manage instead of 5 veterans, 25 or even 100 at a time because they have all this electronic capability to to basically check on the portal how they are doing, but also they were able to get the education and the checks
Yeah,
through
so
the
they were able to maintain quality care while making sure that they're seeing everybody and people aren't on a waiting list to see people.
Yes.
That's
Yeah, I mean, and
amazing.
the scalability that the system gave to the VA was remarkable. Was
Yeah.
remarkable.
I'm not a technology person, but I am intrigued by it, and I do like the way it helps us in today's world.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking. So that was sort of the background of the things that I was doing before. So I had sort of the pieces in my head of technology, devices, software development, large systems. So all those pieces definitely were helpful in order to be able
Yeah.
to put together a solution that fulfilled my need. And then the idea was this product was not what it is today from day one. It was, as I mentioned
Right.
before, really an evolution. And I think that was the right approach because I learned so much along the way and I was able to shape the product to
Right.
really fulfill the need of a very particular segment.
Do you think you could explain the product in like a layman's terms to somebody who's like, what is CareLink 360? Like,
Yeah.
so they know exactly what this is and how
Thank you.
extraordinary it is.
So thank you, Tepan. So in a nutshell, is it's a communication device and probably so a communication device, but it has been built so simple that even people with mild cognitive impairment and dementia can use because I and it's a self-contained system. So it's not an app. And from the very beginning I was very determined that it cannot be an app because an app is the problem to begin with so many older adults because they didn't grow up with the concept of app. And then you have these systems that are too small. I mean, older adults have problems with vision, hearing, dexterity, and sometimes with cognition. So these small screens are just too small and confusing for them to begin with. The
Mhm.
second thing is the dexterity. And as we age, our skin does not transmit the electrical activity that is required to operate the touch of this screen. So sometimes when an older adult is tapping the screen, it doesn't respond in the same way as a younger person
I did
because the
notice that a lot with my mom and my aunt who are elderly, and they use their phones for things when my mom was alive, and they would always tap, and nothing was happening.
yes,
Yeah,
either they tap and it's not this quick tap, or they touch too long and it doesn't respond back, or
exactly.
just the conductivity is so. You have to be mindful of, and then all the concept of zoom, swap, and basically flip and flinch, and all of those gestures that we're used to
Yeah.
do right now are just too cumbersome for them.
Mhm.
So, and then just to give you an example, one of our users, our customers, the case manager was explaining to me, my client before with the phone, she was always confused when in a video call that the small picture, she didn't know if she had to look at the a little bigger picture or the small picture. She was always confused. I'm seeing it here, but you are there. Now you have to think that Canon 360, the device is a 15 inches screen, so it's as large as a very large laptop. Some people call it a mini television because it's a self-contained device. So with that large screen, older adult doesn't get confused. They are seeing you right there. Even a side effect that I didn't expect, even the body language changes because they are seeing the person so big on the screen that they really believe that they are talking with you there.
Yeah,
So
right there in the house, right?
right there in the house. So the screen is important, the size. The volume, we have very large speakers because I in this journey, I learned very early on that even people with hearing aids still cannot hear properly regular volume. So they have to bump it up. And then the touch, right? We were talking about the touch. And then when we have some cognitive issues, well, really has to be super simple, reduce the number of icons, and then the operation in our device. Most of, for the most part, the older adult is more recipient the activity that there is a lot of opportunities of interaction. But for example, for a video call, the family member can just drop in. The older adult doesn't have to touch any button in order to answer the call.
That's
So
nice.
if you have the screen in a living room, in the kitchen, the family members from the app, because that's the other component, right? We have to bridge that gap. So not everyone is going to have the big screen that is Canon 360 device.
Mhm.
The families, the grandchildren, all of them have a smartphone. So they install an app. So we make that bridge from the app to the device. And then the children and grandchildren, spouses can be anywhere in the world and just touch a button on the app and show up on the screen of mom or dad. So, for example, for my in-laws, the screen is in their living room, and we just drop in around 6 p.m. their time, noon our time, just to say hello. And they are just there. Sometimes they are just sitting in the living room. And since the screen is so big, they don't have to stand up. And we just start chatting. And then, as I say, for my mother-in-law, she's not using a smartphone. She didn't did actually. So now having that opportunity to so simple, we can see them, do a check-in, which is very important. You can see how they are dressed. I mean, you can see how the house looks like. It's in the room, but that gives you enough information that they are okay. And then they can see you. And as I mentioned, the screen is so large. So sometime my husband one time told me he was all confused because his mom was telling him, your brother was here just a few minutes ago. And my husband was thinking, okay, well, my brother once in a while on a Sunday drives by and stops. So he saw that his brother was physically in the house. But no, he was using the app and
Mhm.
chatting with the parents. But again, the body language, the concept that the screen is so big that they have the impression that you are there. And
So
and
if
that
I
is
if my family member had the device,
Mhm.
I don't have to have the device. I use an
No.
app through my phone. Oh,
Exactly,
that's
exactly,
amazing.
exactly. And you can use it since you need internet connection, you can use it anywhere in the world. So we have been making those connections from people that haven't seen each other in a long time are able to connect. So just having all those stories of grandparents have seen their grandchild through the device because otherwise they couldn't travel, and then otherwise they wouldn't have been able to see the babies or to keep that connection. So making the possibility that, I mean, the best thing is to be in person, but just
Right.
making the possibility of the virtual connection, it has been wonderful. And as I mentioned, there are other products that may look similar, but what it is unique to us is how we have developed those features that make it so simple for older adults to use. So if an older adult is comfortable with a smartphone or is comfortable with a tablet or the computer, my product is not for them. But there
Right.
are so many that, especially if they're moving along the journey of dementia, that is it's keeping capabilities out of them, and also the capabilities for the families to check in with them. That has been
Well, I'll give you an
the
example. My mom had the Facebook portal when she had somebody living with her,
Okay.
so we could call and check in. But there were times that she would go to answer the portal
Mhm.
and, her caregiver might have been cooking or doing whatever. She could never get the button or she wouldn't know where it was coming from. And obviously, my mom had Alzheimer's, but she did struggle. So, a device where you could just pop in, hey, mom, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Much better.
Right, right, right. Exactly, exactly. I mean, it, the problem is the well, we all feel anxiety when we are in a condition where we haven't been before, and we struggle a little bit, but we're able to manage. The adults, as they get older, the level of anxiety and stress that it causes unusual situation where they cannot resolve it is bigger than that because they start questioning their own security. They start questioning, I'm too old for this, and then start arguing and get frustrated. So the amount of negative activity when they get frustrated is overwhelming sometimes in comparison with what we can handle. I mean, we also get frustrated and we say, oh, this app, it changes. I mean, I get frustrated all the time when I get an upgrade and where was this thing? And especially if you don't use some software for
So
some time,
true.
gosh, they changed it. How was and forgot my password. That's the other thing, right? We all get frustrated, but we accept it and we move along and sometimes we just give up and try again later. But when I see my older adults get frustrated, is a level of anxiety that is beyond just discomfort and nuisance. It even affect how I see it from my experiences. It even affect their own sense of security. And
Yes.
and that's what I think we have to develop technology that help ease, and that has been all my focus, ease that frustration, remove that anxiety. That is really they feel they don't even know that they are using it because it just comes so natural to them.
Yeah, it's like a person walking in the room and just talking to them.
Yes, and then even the other activities. I mean, we have medication reminders, doctor's appointments. So people, for example, I have a beautiful case of a case manager who is basically helping a person living with dementia, and she's quite advanced with the dementia, but through the device. And since the day started, the person learned to respond to the device. So she sent her prompts of time for your snack and used the right language with her on what she can recognize of now is snack time and now it's time to drink your juice. So then she goes and remember. And then since the prompt is on the screen, this is a very interesting example that you share with me. Since she shared on the screen time for a snack, in dementia, she look at the screen, snack time. Okay. She moved because it's in the kitchen. She moved to the refrigerator, opened the door, and then she forgot what I was supposed to do here. Now she look at the screen, snack time. Now she go and grab the snack.
Uh,
So with those prompts, she has been able to guide her beside the video visit, to guide her through the day, to have her routine and be able to live independent as possible. Now, as the time has continued, she has been needing more care, but still the prompts, the guidance, helping her with the schedule, even the exercises of help also the aides that are in the home help her when the case manager is not there. The aides are instructed on what to do with the lady that I'm talking about living with dementia because all the instructions are prompted on the screen as well as the day goes by.
yeah, but just like you said, like just elderly people in general have maybe a shorter term memory, even if they don't have dementia, right?
Mm-hmm.
They forget some things or how to do them. So if you have a parent that's not living next to you, it's a great opportunity to be able to always be able to check on them, not just with a camera that sits in the house, because a lot of people have those cameras, but
Yes.
this is a device that you can communicate. And maybe
Yeah.
you can't be in the house with them, but you're there.
Exactly,
have dinner
exactly.
with them, whatever it might
Yes.
be.
Oh, that was also a beautiful example. I mean, one lady in Boston and the mom was in Texas. But the bottom line is that they have the granddaughter had dinner with grandma and play a little song for her. So through the device. So yes, exactly like that. Have dinner, have share moments and just it make it so precious.
I'm so excited about it. I do
Yeah.
have a question though.
Yes.
Are they in private homes or do you also use them in long-term care facilities, assisted
They are
living?
actually they are in all type of settings and
Okay.
all over the world as well. I mean, we whoever the person calls home is where those devices are. So they are at home with home care. They are in assisted living, they are in memory care, in rehabilitation centers. Yeah, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. I like
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
So, as a volunteer with the Alzheimer's Association, you also have some certifications in dementia care. What have the families taught you that maybe healthcare professionals overlook?
I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Calm Creations. If you like relaxing by the warm glow of a candle with the scent that brings back memories, I've got the perfect candle company for you. Calm Creations, based in New Jersey, makes high quality, beautifully scented candles, and 10% of their profits go to benefit nonprofit organizations. Check out their amazing selection at calmcreations.com. And thank you for being a sponsor of Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World.
Yeah, I think thank you for that question because the more I think about it and is is that the health professionals are not telling at all and not helping at all families on what to expect the dementia journey will be.
Mm-hmm.
They have their medical and professional hat on them and they overlook completely how to prepare the families on how the journey is going to be. Because at the end of the day, the disease, even though there has been a lot of progress, we still don't have a cure for everyone.
Right.
And and then there are a lot of people that are in this journey and the numbers keep increasing and it's not a situation in the US or in Europe or in Japan is worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So and the difficult part of the disease is that you have to understand that you cannot reason with the person living with dementia. Those are one of the capabilities that they lose. And
It's one of
then
the hardest things as a family member to
it's the
cope with,
hardest.
I think.
Yes, you know that very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that as well. And that is the hardest and the saddest part because you see a person and they are irritated and you don't understand why they are irritated and you tell them, but that is not true. And that's the only thing that you cannot say to them.
Right.
So if they were at least a warning sign of not a warning sign, but at least being more compassionate and let them know what is coming, how this journey can evolve, it will be so much helpful. Also, I believe that there is also a problem of education in the medical community that they are not very well prepared.
I think you, as a community educator for the Alzheimer's Association, you're in a great position to bring that out to the community. And you
Yes,
do
and
that. And we thank you for that.
thank you, Beth. Actually, that is one of the things that I enjoy the most, and being fortunately in the position not only to bring education to families, but also to professionals and nurses students, which I think is very important to start from the very beginning with education.
Healthcare professionals, especially in a hospital, in a long term care or dementia care, memory care, they kind of get that education. But when you have one of those patients go into a hospital, those healthcare professionals have very little knowledge or education on how to work with them.
Yes.
And it
Yeah.
makes the
Yeah.
family, the families have to be there all the time because they need to make sure that they can manage their care when they're there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just to understand the nature of the disease. I mean, this is not something. This is also the one of the hardest things of the diseases when you have an operation, anything, right? You go to the hospital, you know you're going to have a surgery, you're going to take some medication, but after some time you get better.
Mhm.
Yet is not the case. And then the thing is, the person physically looks fine. When you have a surgery, you're going to see the scar, right?
Mhm.
Or something, you're going to see something physically that, okay, that's the disease, that's what they did, or that's what they didn't do. And with this disease, people sometimes are physically very well, and then, but it's just the anxiety, the hallucinations that may come, not understanding what is happening and not being able to communicate and have a logical conversation. The communication, missing that portion is one of them.
I can see from the amount of empathy you have, how you were able to develop CareLink 360 because you just have a real compassion for the elderly, those with dementia, families in general. Your company motto is changing the way the world ages. Can you explain what that looks like to you for families?
For families, it's peace of mind that they know that they can check in their loved ones at any time, that they know how they are doing. And for loved ones, for older adults, is that their days are filled with joy and not depressed, that they are not alone, they are not isolated, that they feel that they are loved and uh, they, that the days goes by in a more meaningful way.
What makes me, I just thought about this too with the CareLink 360, the frustration of trying to call your loved one and them not answering. But with this, there's no, there's no waiting for somebody to answer. You can just drop in.
Yeah,
It's great.
thank you, Greta, for pointing that out, because that is absolutely true. I mean, we are all worried, and that happens so many times. I mean, people tell me, my mom forget to charge the phone, or she
Hmm.
forgets where she put it, and then I call, and at the end, I have to just jump into the car and go visit her because I'm
Right,
so
right. But not
worried.
everybody has that opportunity, right? It might take a
No,
couple hours or you're in another country.
yes,
So it's nice to be able to at least say, let me just drop in. She's not answering. Maybe she's doing something. Maybe her phone's dead, but I can at least see what's going on,
yes,
which is
exactly.
what I love about that.
Yes, thank
It's
you.
great. It's great. As you look ahead, what kind of future do you want to help build for aging adults and their loved ones? And do you think AI is going to be a big part of that?
Well, yes, yes, I think we're going to be using a lot AI, because AI, what the vision that I have, and we have at Kerlin, is really care has to be personalized.
Hmm.
Everyone is different, everyone evolves differently. So with AI having, we will be able to fine tune the personalization and be able to help people in the aging journey, and probably help them live better in the aging journey with personalization, with a tool, learning how the people communicate. So learning how to present the information to them. So all about, I think, we're going to be able to use the tool for adaptation, for support, for supplementation. So when someone is deficit in some area, forgetting something, well, if you know the routine and if you know the things that they use on regular basis, just give them prompts, hints of helping them with the recall, right?
Yeah.
if
Kind of
if
like
you
a
have an
AI occupational therapist built
yes,
in,
yeah,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. So
Yeah.
have AI as a tool that supplement the work that is personalized and help them age better, and also identify how they are evolving in the aging process and make recommendations of what type of care they should be getting at the different ages. So learning how the people age and what are the things that they will need as they age, and make recommendations for that. That definitely is an area that we will be using AI. And then robots. I think robots are also, we have to think very hard how we're going to build those robots to make them robust, secure, gentle. We have a long way, but I think down the road, they're going to be also very sharp.
You definitely think it's going to be a positive, though.
Yeah.
Good.
But we have a long way, and we have
Yeah.
to learn a lot. And so we have it, in my opinion, we have a long way. We can do a lot of things right now, but to have this full, wonderful assistant that helps you and make good and right recommendation is that
Yeah.
we have to work on.
So before we wrap this up, I was hoping that you could give us one small thing families can do today to strengthen connections with their aging loved one.
Yes, definitely. Just make a phone call, and if you are able to drop by and say hello and spend time company, that is what they need the most.
Loneliness.
Yeah,
Loneliness. I know I said that was the last question, but it made me think of another one. Um, from feedback from the families that work with the CareLink 360, do they feel that that helps them with their loneliness, their family members, and them? I
yeah,
I'm thinking, like, even outside of just being a parent, but, like, their grandchildren being able to call grandma and see her and easily talk to her, that type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I mean, the well, definitely, if the older adults feel more connected for sure, because and then it gives you the opportunity to very easily, if you are far away and if you're a grandchild, just drop and chat with grandpa or grandma.
Mm.
But also the opportunity, the device, and that is something that family told me this week. I mean, the device when it's not in use is a picture frame. So families send pictures and
Okay.
it becomes a picture frame. So sometimes grandchildren have a hard time identifying, or even if with dementia, without dementia, sometimes grandchildren have a hard time finding conversation with their grandparents.
Mhm.
But just focus on the pictures that are coming and, and asking them, what was that? That gives them an easy conversation. They learn about the thoughts of their grandparents and make a connection. So
Aw.
just having that opportunity to learn the younger person learn about the grandparents, and then the grandparents have the opportunity to connect with their grandchildren in a way that make it simple, because otherwise sometimes there's not a common bond. I mean, the
Yeah, a
grandchildren
struggle to find
probably.
a topic.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So these are the opportunities to again find simplest way to connect and bridge that gap, sometimes intergenerational gaps. Thank you.
If somebody in the audience wanted to find more about CareLink 360,
Yes.
how can they do that?
So please go to our website, which is my carelink 3.
Okay, and I'm also going to put that in the show notes. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us before we sign off?
No, just make that connection with your loved ones, and just for all the caregivers out there, especially those that are living with a loved one experiencing dementia, you are not alone, and please search for help. And this is difficult, but there is hope in dementia.
Paula, I have to say you have so much compassion and empathy and just such a big heart, and your intelligence brings so much to the table, and you're able to bring so much to so many people. You're a beautiful example of, people coming together and how you can bring the aging people and families together who care for them. So I want to thank you for spending this time with us
Thank you.
and for the work
Thank you
that
for the
you
opportunity.
do. And I'm hoping that people realize that you can't leave people alone.
Yes.
And that communication part is so important. Thank you for being
Thank
here
you.
today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Beth. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please share with a friend. If you know an extraordinary person, I would love to hear from you so that I can feature them on the show. Please email me at bethextraordinarypeople@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram at extraordinary_people_podcast. I look forward to hearing from you. And in the words of Saint Mother Teresa, not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. I look forward to our next extraordinary person, the first Friday of next month. See you then.